Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Camera Tuesday, we're going to talk about some small updates about A7V USB performance and its card issue. So let's dive deep into it. Now, many of you may want to buy A7 Mark V or know someone who want to buy A7 Mark V. So in those sort of scenario, you have to understand what's happening. Meaning A7 Mark V is very new, meaning all the card manufacturers have not gotten their hands on it or have not enough time to cook the firmware. So you would have to understand that Sony is the only one that uses CFast type A cards, meaning Sony can make some tweaks that can cook other systems. And again, it does happen. That's why you generally do not want proprietary solution. You want something that is used by all. And CFast Type A can only be tested by Sony camera itself. So this company, Angelbird, which again I bought, it's a known, well-reputable company. People like it. I bought it, and turns out it has issues. Now the issue is random, as in many time card simply flat out stops camera from booting, and it's again first time I thought like what the hell happened, but turns out it was card issue. It's like how the heck a brand new camera, it's not booting up, I have to remove the battery and then plug it. It's like, did the firmware froze? Turns out it was issue with this, and Wi-Fi did not work. Now again, let that be very clear, I did use this card, I have worked, and again if you have watched a few weeks of my video, previous few weeks 4K videos, all are shot on this. So what's the problem? Wi-Fi does not work, like flat out. Like Wi-Fi is like no. Now for my old Canon camera, I utilized this remote to trigger the camera. I did not want to buy something like this, although I think that may be required. So I wanted to use Wi-Fi app. So Wi-Fi is kind of important nowadays, and not having the ability to communicate, it's difficult. So this is a big issue, and let that be very clear. Angelbird flat out told me that they have not tested it with it, or I'm pretty sure they are testing it, they are working on it, because again, if I had bought the camera body, I'm pretty sure they have the camera body. It's just that it's taking a bit longer to cook. So that could create an issue. If you want, this is your first time camera, you do not want to deal with extra hassle, do not buy Angelbird card. What about other third party? There are other third party, but I would urge you to avoid it unless you have seen that exact brand, exact gigabyte capacity. Not if like, oh, they tested with 256, you bought 512 and it's like it's not working. No, exact model, only then no risk it. Most times don't risk it. It's just like it's too much hassle. It is a Sony luge motion system, you have to deal with that luge motion. So again, for me it was kind of important, and again I have emailed them, other people have also emailed them. Now they have a boilerplate replies like it's not compatible, we are working on it. So it is what it is. The reason why I bought another tough card is that my brother said, because again I do not have a laptop, I do have a kick-ass desktop PC, do not have a laptop. He said like, if you are going for Mumbai Expo, I want to do a lot of interviews, this camera generates data like there is no tomorrow, and in all I am like, I'm eating through gigabytes like there is no tomorrow. So it's like even terabyte is like brah. So I wanted to buy a small Sony card so I can utilize everything. It's like, yeah, it won't be wise. So I bought the biggest Sony available, 1920 gigabyte. I have no idea what Sony was smoking, and it's not like it's actually 1920 gigabytes available. It's a 1.7 terabyte is available. So it's not even 2000. Why? Like, did the memory chip manufacturer trolled out? What happened? So what does this mean for you? Well, back in the days it would have meant death, because the original Sony tough cards, they were stupendously expensive. So what's the difference between original and modern? Modern one is V4. Make sure when you are looking into Sony cards, do not look at the old one. Must make sure that it has V4 written on it. If it does not have V4, you'd be shocked how expensive it is. For example, do not pay attention to the basically currency, pay attention to the numbers. For 160 gigabyte, you have to pay 31,000. But a V4, you have to pay 480, basically you will get 480 for 33,000. It's like 3 times more expensive. It's almost like Sony overpaid, or like, you know, it was the first time the assembly line was running. Cards are idiotically expensive, like nobody is buying them. However, V4 cards are reasonable, and ironically, this large capacity one, I found it for a reasonable price of 67,000. Now, is that price a lot? Yes, it drained my bank account. Kaput, the end. There is no bank account left. But this is the biggest is available. Like flat out, Sony will not release more than that. Heck, even Angelbird does not have 2 terabyte model available for Type A. So this is what I bought. And again, this means all my expert shooting, I can utilize this card. If it fills up, then I have this fail-safe. So, oh, let that be very clear. You can utilize V90 SD cards, but V90 SD cards are more expensive than this. Yeah, especially if you are looking at large sizes. So again, let that be very clear. Make sure you buy Sony Tough card if you do not want headache experience, and make sure it's not the old one. V4. How do you know it's V4? It would have written 1800 read-write speed and 1700 write speed. Older one, because this was PCI 3.0, only say 800 and 700. So that's the easiest way to tell. And again, it would be logical price V4, and it's almost same as, let that be very clear, it's more or less the same ballpark as third-party options, depending where you're buying from, because this was sold for lakhs, like almost 2x 3x the price that I got it for. So be mindful where you're buying from, but you should be able to buy CF Express 4.0 Type A cards for reasonable price from Sony Tough. Do that if you do not want to deal with experience. Or again, they said Angel Bird is working and they will release a firmware update that should solve all this issue, but be mindful. Do not take the risk if you do not have to. So be mindful of that. And expensive, and yes, the Wi-Fi is working. And again, it's not even an issue. The only issue now is that I have to disable energy savings mode because it turns off, and then I'm like, why the Wi-Fi is not working? Oh, its camera is turned off. So warning, try to buy Sony Tough cards. If not, double check, quadruple check, exact model, exact gigabyte capacity is sold by, and try to buy packages that are recently packed. So if any company has figured out, like let's say Lexar or Nextor, there are all other OWC or something like that, they must have fixed the firmware after the camera release. So please make sure the packaging of the card is recent if you're buying from a physical store. Now, this one thing that I hate, all camera YouTuber, that none of them actually do card reader and testers. Like, I did not want to buy another card reader, and card reader for CFast Type A is expensive. So card does have USB 10 Gbps. When I did the live stream of the launch, I was very excited about that. However, my current understanding is that the new SoC, there is no way in hell that SoC could be that slow. So what most likely is happening, because the SoC is the first launch, as in like, you do not want to run the brand new engine on full out. So they are like, hey, let's run it on PCI 3.0. You can do that in electronics. You can have PCI 4.0 capable device and just down throttle it to 3.0. So it's actually internally running at 5 Gbps. Everything is just 5 Gbps. The handshake is 10, but there is no use of it. And the moment you do USB webcam, it downclocks to 5 Gbps. Like, I have tested it. And again, this is USB 3, so I can damn sure, like, is my motherboard, port and drivers support that high speed? Yes. Is the cable support that heavy? Yes. Does the handshake actually go through? Because again, sometimes you can have connection error. Does that handshake go through? The camera, does it manage to establish the 10 Gbps? Yes. It still does not give you the performance. So what does that mean? That simply means underwhelming speed of 450 to 550 Mbps dump speed. Now, is that fast? If you're coming from SD card, even UHS 2 SD card, generally most of them are gonna poop out at 200 to 250. And if you're going from mechanical drive, that would be the weak link. In my case, I do have an NVMe SSD. So my SSD can digest data without any issue. So this speed is like underwhelming. Let's just put it that way. It's underwhelming. I was like, come on, because you can easily give 2x of that without any issue. And again, that's the whole point of having NVMe SSD in your camera. So I'm very underwhelmed, because 4.0, the brand new cards, these are 4.0. 4.0 can easily handle 20 Gbps Type A. So should you buy a card reader? If you buy a basic card reader that is USB 10 Gbps, that will be 2x faster than this. If you buy USB 20 Gbps, that will be the max speed, meaning this will be the bottleneck at that point in time. You cannot read or write data faster than 20 Gbps. And I'm talking about link speed. It will never actually achieve that speed. Like, for example, this puppy claims 1800. It will not even go 2000. That would be 20 Gbps. So be mindful of that. Should you buy a card reader to, make your offloading easier? Most scenarios, not really. Like, unless you are doing long recording. If you are one of those guys who have to do long recording, like in my case, each videos are like 20-30 minutes. So it's like 5 or 10 minutes of transferring. It's 30 FPS all eye. Now, if you are like using 60 FPS all eye, yeah, get a card reader. At that point in time, you might notice tangible enough time savings, going from basically barely 500 to 16 to 1700 Mbps you should be able to get from card reader. But be mindful, buy a quality card reader. Do not buy the cheapest one available. So let that be very clear. And yes, I have quadruple checked everything. Link speed is again a port maximum speed supported, device maximum speed, device connection speed. All of these I've double checked, qualified, and again I had tested with NVMe enclosure with the same cable to make sure that cable is not bottlenecking. Cable can go much faster. Cable can easily go 1 Gbps. So camera is not running at PCI 4.0, and I am very underwhelmed with it. It's not end of the world, and again in my daily use case 5 minutes is not that big of a deal, because in that time I deal with other parts of the video production. But again, if you're doing 60 FPS or long form videos, get a card reader. But again, do not spend more than 20 Gbps, because again card cannot go faster than that. Or you may want to buy 40 Gbps full size type B card reader and have a adapter that converts like how you have micro SD to full size SD available for this also. But again, that will not go and give you the full 40 Gbps, because again this itself is limited. So you should be able to get 1500 Mbps, and that will have the benefit that if you buy FX series cameras, those use full size card, or any Panasonic, Nikon, Canon, Fujifilm, all of those also use that. So that may make sense, but again your mileage may vary. So card reader performance is like very underwhelming. I've seen once or a while it touching 600. It does not stay there. And again, please urge from your favorite YouTuber, test the goddamn card reader speed. I am guaranteed that almost all camera companies should be able to meet this, and I'm waiting for one company to exceed it. It's like, no, we can actually give you 1 Gbps. Be mindful, 1 to 20 Gbps, basically 10 Gbps to 20 Gbps is a painful jump. You have to add extra conductors. So I do not see any camera giving that, but I can easily see 10 Gbps. This was very underwhelming. It's like, come on. I wanted 10. Come on, 10. 10 is cheap. So what about USB charging? Again, I have used this camera for my main daily driver, and again, I do not have a battery charger. It's truly disappointing. It's one of those things that I keep saying, that camera companies never learned the fact that we have crossed 1970s. It is flat out slow. So how do you decide which power bank and which charger to buy? Buy whatever that claims USB-C power delivery and PPS. PPS is programmable power supply, meaning it talks to the device and adjusts the voltage on the fly. So it won't be fixed volt like 5 volt, 12 volt. It could be some half volt that is just above the battery voltage, and it would be like 9.5 volt or something like that. So it does that. It is slow. Now here's the people might say, oh, you have to slow charge it, it's good for the lifespan. No, fast charging damages it. Slow charging is not, it's just wasting time, because all lithium chemistry, especially the chemistry that are used in this, is designed for 1C, aka 0 to 100% in 1 hour. 0 to 80%, because it's in what we call constant current mode. As long as it's cool enough, you can easily charge it. Like DJI action cameras, that's why they can give you 0 to 80% in 11, 15 minutes or 20 minutes is easy. Your mobile phone can also do the same thing. I'm not expecting 0 to 100 in 20 minutes. That's not possible unless you use lithium titanate oxide. But 0 to reasonable percentage should be done in 30 minutes. Should be done in 30 minutes. And again, it will not harm the cell life. It will not cause, and be mindful, this has heat sink inside built into it. So that is really slow. Like, you have to turn the camera off and then wait for 2 hours. Only then you can reliably utilize this camera. And again, I did not buy the battery charger because again, I have only one battery. If I buy another battery, then it will make sense to have a charger, or buy one of those new one that has the USB-C port in the battery. So that is there. And charging while utilizing is not possible. That was truly frustrating for a camera that claims it has 2 USB ports. I'm like, what's the point? It's like how laptop, if you ever paid attention to laptop adapters, they have always weird numbers, right? 18 volt, 19 volt. The reason for that is the cell pack that they have, the voltage is always higher than that. So idea is, assume your laptop is fully drained. You connect the charger and you're using the laptop, it will require a lot of oomph. The idea is the charger should be able to charge the battery while you are going YOLO on the basically utilization. So charge and utilize at the same time. All smartphone can do that. This does not do that, meaning if you are connecting with basically your USB wire, it will give you this 4 option. Live streaming, which is that USB webcam, image transfer, which converts your file into memory, basically this itself into a externally mounted hard drive, so to say, mass storage. And then you have image transfer, MTP. Now, if you are worried about corruption or like, you cannot take a risk, use MTP. MTP will not allow any write function for your PC. So even if your PC kaputs itself, it should not be able to cause any damage or any harm to any files that is in the memory. So most times people, if they are like very sensitive, they will generally deal with that. Mass storage system does have that risk because you get both read and write authority. You can kaput the system. So be mindful of that. And then you have remote tethering and all that. Not that useful. Again, even the port one says 10 Gbps. I'm like, bro, you do not act like 10 Gbps. You only act like 5 Gbps. That was very, very underwhelming. So if you are in webcam, mass storage, or even recording a video or anything like that, camera's energy consumption would be provided by the charging port, but it will not charge the battery. So if your battery was like low and you're like, okay, I'm gonna record a video and let's just say the video is like 2 hours long, it should be long enough to charge the battery, it will not charge it. It will still be at 10% at the end of it. So and even when I'm talking about mass storage and all that, it does charge it. Be mindful. It will show you the logo. It will show you the logo that it is charging, but it is so slow that you have to do overnight to charge it. Don't waste time on it, so to say. So be very mindful of that, like very mindful. If you are relying on the camera to charge itself, make sure you turn it off. It does have a light, so that's good. It does have a light, but this part is like frustrating. It's like, bro, come on. We are in the future. We have powered programmable power supply. Oh, by the way, it's a new version is also there, advanced programmable power supply. That like fine tunes it in like millivolt steps. So it's like you can, instead of doing voltage step down on the camera, it's like just, bro, what's the voltage curve for the cell requirement? Directly the charger, we're gonna provide that. It's like, this is really, what you call, petty. It's like, you have 2 ports. Come on. So it is what it is. Now we come to the new feature that they are introducing with this model A7 Mark V, lens firmware update. I'm like, wait a minute, can't you do that earlier? Yes and no. Yes, you could have done that utilizing your camera, but a PC would have been required and application in the PC would have been required. However, this is the first time that, again, it could be in some edge case scenario, but this is the first time Sony is claiming it, is that they can update the file via file itself, meaning you download a file from Sony website, you dump it into your card plugs it into camera updates the firmware, meaning it does not matter whether you're using Linux or like you can update someone else's camera also. You do not require a Sony application and all that. So for a lot of people, it's like shut up, take money. However, the people who are experimenting, an amazing YouTuber who figured it out, I've linked his video. It's much better than what I could do. So it's like, yeah, it's not working. So the firmware is lacking, to say the least. Although, let that be very clear, if you bought a lens that has been packaged recently, you don't need it. But what if you have an older lens or a new firmware for the lens starts to come out? It would be frustrating. So at this point in time, I'm very underwhelmed with this camera. Like actually using it day to day, it's like, bro, like that card reader speed was like, bro, I get it. Like if companies like, bro, we're not gonna give you 20 Gbps, I get it. A, 20 Gbps cables are expensive. B, the port actually requires double data lanes. I get it. 10, you are saying it, you are doing the handshake. I'm pretty sure the SoC can do that, because again, if SoC was still stuck at PCI 3.0, Sony would not have released this. So I'm pretty sure. It's just underwhelming. And like the charging was like really frustrating. Again, I do not have any backup, so let's just see. I just wanted to make sure that if you are planning to buy this camera, these are the growing pains that you might have to deal with. So we have to wait for one firmware update, and maybe, knock on wood, that if you get a new firmware update, they might fix, like instead of Angelbird doing jiggering on their end, the firmware update allows this sort of cards to work. Because again, camera does work. That's the confusing part. That's why it was hard to diagnose. Camera was working, everything was working. It's just that Wi-Fi was not working, and sometimes it would randomly freeze over. So that's what it, and be mindful. Please keep checking the Sony website for all the equipments you have if they have firmware update, because again, Sony does not do a lot of firmware updates. So if they do, there was a big issue that they are fixing it. So this was my presentation on basically the small life updates that I got from utilizing this camera, and I hope this video allows you to get better experience and better realization what you are actually gonna get. So I hope you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst a friend. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike. Press it twice to show me disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.